So now let's go back and do the part where we're supposed to sketch out the graphs here. And this is probably the part I would just go ahead and use my graphing calculator here for. So we'll just kind of work backwards on these. I'm going to start to kind of create a graph here. Oops. So if I do my little graph here, so I'm going to go to my graphing calculator. I'm going to go to my y equals here, clear these out of here, put in my new 2x to the third minus 4x. 2x to the third minus 4x. Graph. So there I can see my graph. So I'm going to sketch it out similarly. So doing that, you've got one, and you can look at your ordered pairs in here too. I can go to my table here, and I can see some nice ordered pairs, 0, 0. I've got a 1, negative 2. There are some other nice ordered pairs that were on there. Negative 1, 2. So, and then I can tell I've got some, looks like some x-intercepts going on there. So somewhere between 1 and 2 it's going through, closer to 1. Something like that. And then your other part over here, it looks like you got an x-intercept somewhere between negative 1 and negative 2, but closer there to negative 1. So there it is, kind of sketched out so you can kind of see what's going on there. So you can definitely tell that that ends up being an odd function there. Since looking at the ordered pairs here, we said this one here was at 1, negative 2, and this one over here is at negative 1, 2. So remember odd functions there. The x's and the y's there are both opposites of each other. So it's negative 1 and 1, and the other one has 1. The one has 2, and the other has a negative 2. So looking at those ordered pairs, you can pretty much tell that they're opposites that way, so odd. And then let's go back here and let's graph this one too. Again, there's lots of ways to graph it, but if you want to use your graphing calculator, there's nothing wrong with that. So I can go to my y equals here. I'm going to plug in my graph, 2x minus x squared. Hit graph. And I end up there with a quadratic. And I'm actually going to change my window here a little bit. It changes to 10. Hit graph again. There, much better. So I can see some nice ordered pairs there. It looks like I got 0, 0, and I've got 2, 0. And then I just want to know what that ordered pair there. I think it's 1, 1 for the vertex there. I'm just going to check my table here to see if it is 1, 1. Yeah, 1, 1 there is an ordered pair. So since 1, 1 there is an ordered pair, I can connect those. And there I have my nice graph here. And remember with this one, we said it was not neither odd nor even, because to be even here, it had to be symmetric to the y-axis. This is not symmetric to the y-axis, it's symmetric to the line containing x equals 1. So neither would be correct. Coming over here, again, doing another graph. So I might sketch my graph here, 1 minus x to the fourth. So let's graph that one out. So go to my y equals here, plug another one in here, 1 minus x, caret key 4, hit graph. So it looks like I've got 1, 0 and negative 1, 0 and maybe 0, 1. Let's see if that's true. 0, 1, negative 1, 0, and 1, 0. So let's plot those. Negative 1, 0, 1, 0, and 0, 1. So remember, to be an even function, which this one is, it has to be symmetric to the y-axis. And you can definitely see that if you folded that over, it's definitely symmetric to the y-axis there. So now let's go ahead and look at the previous one to this. We're supposed to sketch this one out too. It's an odd function this time. So this is x to the fifth plus x. So I'm going to go to my y equals x to the fifth plus x graph. So that looks like it's going through 0, 0, and then I'm not sure what some other nice ordered pairs are after that. So 0, 0, negative 1, negative 2, and 1, 2. So 0, 0, negative 1, 2, and no, 1, 2, and negative 1, negative 2. There we go. Disregard that one up there. I'm going to erase it. So if I graph that, it's going to look like this. So again, I want to look at that again. You can see 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2. So odd function here because you had some nice ordered pairs here. We said this one here was 1, 2, and this one down here is negative 1, negative 2. So remember odd functions, they end up being, if you've got a 1 for your x value, then another ordered pair would be a negative 1. This one here is a 2, then this one here is a negative 2. It's the opposites. So definitely an odd function. And then we have another odd function here. So let's graph this one out as well. So this one is f of x equals x to the third. So y equals x to the third. Hit graph. You can look at your ordered pairs here. We've got 0, 0, negative 1, and 1, 1. So let's plot those out. So 0, 0, 1, 1, negative 1, negative 1. Ordered pairs there. 1, 1, negative 1, negative 1. So again, it's an odd function there. You've got one that has 1 and the x value, the other one's a negative 1. The y value is a 1, the other one's a negative 1. So they're opposites, both the x's and the y's. So again, we had to graph those out as we found those to be even or odd. Now, one of these, this one was neither even nor odd, but I wanted to show you why that wasn't even or odd. You don't have to actually graph it out if it's not even or odd, but I wanted you to see that. So I've got one here now, so if you can pause the video, I'd like you to go ahead and determine whether it's even, odd, or neither. And then if it is even or odd, if you could go ahead and sketch out the graph. So if you could pause the video right now. So we're back here now. Determine whether functions are even, odd, or neither even nor odd. And if it's even or odd, sketch out the graph. So let's go ahead and let's plug in that negative x, and let's see which one it is. So we'll plug in negative x, do the math. So if I take a negative and I square it, I get a positive, so I simply end up there with x squared. -3 in the front plus 4. So notice I got back right to the original function here, and so therefore I can make the conclusion here that it is an even function. So now we just got to simply sketch it out. So again, I might just go ahead and do this on my graphing calculator, even though you guys are probably really good at graphing these out by hand because this is just simply a quadratic. So I can see I've got some nice ordered pairs there. I've got 0, 4. I got -1, 1, and 1, 1. Trying to find my, there we go. All right, so 0, 4, -1, 1. So I'm going to go back to my graph here. -1, 1, and 1, 1. -1, 1, and 1, 1. So there I have my graph there. So thinking about that, remember if it's even then it's got to be symmetric to the y-axis. Well, the line of symmetry ends up being right there, so it's definitely symmetric to the y-axis there. So our learning targets was here. I can determine if a function is even or odd. I can use symmetry to graph an even or odd function. So now, page 192, numbers 61 through 68.